So, good evening and welcome to this time and to this space. This is Anil Sachdev, the Chief Servant of the School of Inspired Leadership. I am extremely pleased to welcome you to this particular program. This is Anil Sachdev, the Chief Servant of the School of Inspired. So I just want you to know that the whole idea is to have a conversation with you today, so that I could share my perspective about the uniqueness of soil and what we are trying to do there, the journey that we have covered so far, and our plans for the future. And so that we could then have a conversation and hopefully an interaction which will help you to be more aware of who we are and what we are attempting to do. So many years back, much before soil started, some of us had this dream that in this country, business should play a much more responsible role. See, you and I spend more time at the workplace than we do at home. So the way we work and the energy that we carry back to home has a profound impact on our homes, on our families, on our community. In fact, the culture of our country or any country is determined by the culture of organizations. If we treat each other with respect, if we find a way of creating a sense of community at the workplace, if we follow the right means to be successful in business so that we do not sell our soul, if we use the earth's resources in a responsible way so that we learn to do more with less for the benefit of more people, then these kinds of ways of working together in the business will have a profound impact on the society, the community, and even smaller organizations and informal parts of the country will look forward to receiving these methods of working, which on one hand are more quality oriented, more team oriented, more values driven, more ethical. And that was the dream some of us had. We said in a country like India, business cannot take the view that our only job is to take care of our shareholders, make more money, maybe take care of our customers, and maybe take care of our employees. I mean, that by itself is not enough. We must take larger responsibility for the way we live now. And that's why this whole experiment of soil started. Some of the best people from industry got together with some of the best academics, and they completely reimagined the future of management education. So right from selection process, we said we should not select people only on the limited tool called CAT or GMAT. But we should have a comprehensive selection test that looks at other forms of intelligence. We should look at creativity. We should look at emotional intelligence. We should look at the way people display traits like assertiveness, the way they use the right means to make something happen. So there are wonderful qualities of multiple intelligences that we put into our selection system. And we said our interview should not be a formality that you are a 99 percentile on CAT and then the interview is for 15 minutes like in most institutes. But this would be like a 1 hour talent appreciation process so that you really discover what are your true strengths, that you truly get an expression to talk about your dreams and what you care about. And then you explore how education can help you to become a better person, become a better leader, and make you go far in terms of making a difference. And the entire curriculum that we co-created was also such that it was put together with the help of the best people from industry, academics, and the NGO world, so that the curriculum was also based on 3 dimensions. One, if you have the right values, how do we convert them into the right character? Because character gives you the strength to go ahead. And in soil, we define character in wonderful ways to say the first part of character is that you should have great self-awareness. And you should have the ability to be fully present in the moment. Whatever you are doing, you should be fully present. If you are reading, you absorb everything that you read. If you're playing, you're giving the best of the sports field. If you are cooking, you are paying attention to cooking. If you are on the dance floor, you are dancing as if nobody is watching. This full attention to be present in the moment is mindfulness. And India is the teacher to the world on mindfulness, because this is the country where we originated yoga. We originated the ability to be focused, the ability to be present, the ability to put all your mind and thoughts and emotions and the whole presence in the moment. So we have a curriculum of what we call meditation and yoga, which teaches this practice of mindfulness. Then comes the practice of thinking with a clear vision. And when you think with a clear vision, you take decisions which are fair to all stakeholders. You should not have fairness only for the shareholders, only for customers, only for employees, but also for the community, also for Mother Earth. So when you think clearly, you take decisions which are fair to all. And in soil, we teach in a curriculum in which people are asked to, over one intensive week, they participate through theatre simulations using the best theatre artists like Lucien Dubé or Amrita Lalji, in which situations are created and simulations. And students are told, if you were in this situation, what would you do? You actually role play that. We were the first school in India to do a theatre-based simulation to understand values. When you understand your values, you then learn how to take the right decisions. And that is what improves your capacity to think in a way which is fair to all. At the same time, we said that it is not important only to think with this discernment and be fair and practice ethics. We should also learn how to relate to multiple stakeholders. We should build a relationship of trust. And that comes through empathy, by putting ourselves into shoes of others, by getting out of our own shoes, and then doing something concrete to satisfy people's needs, resolving their issues and reducing their pain, or sharing in their happiness. This is the practice of compassion. And in soil, we teach compassion by students working one day in a week with an NGO. They work in teams, they work on a social cause, they work with people who are not like us, whether it's the poor children from the slums, or it is women in the villages near Gurgaon, or it is many other causes where people are with disabilities, or people who are cancer survivors. So many different causes our students are involved with, including improving the city of Gurgaon through the NGO called I Am Gurgaon. This teaches compassion. At the same time, we understand that there is a very important part of the character, which is to embrace the uniqueness of every person from every faith. You may be a Christian, I may be a Hindu. You may be good in maths, I may be good in music. You may be man, I may be woman. Differences exist. How to leverage differences and uniqueness of each person so that 1 + 1 becomes 11. That is the practice of diversity. In soil, we make every student aware of the uniqueness the person has. We encourage them to be aware of uniqueness of other classmates. So when they work together in teams, they learn to work in teams on social innovation, on many other projects like the consulting skills class that I teach, so that by honoring differences, they learn to work together and improve diversity and innovation. The last part, we teach them how to adopt the value of sustainability so that they can learn to use less of the resources for the benefit of more people, for really advancing the agenda of looking after Mother Earth. This is done so that we can balance the needs of today with tomorrow. We do this in soil, not only by all the practices that we have and the way we run our own campus, but we do this by making sure that we teach a course called Whole Systems Thinking, in which, for example, this year when we will have a course which is called a boot camp on whole system thinking, our current batch of students will be working on the air pollution problem in Gurgaon. We will involve the city government of Gurgaon. We will involve a very nice organization called Veda, which is making air pollution monitoring equipment. It is set up by a wonderful woman who was earlier working in Facebook, an ex-IIT Delhi alumnus. So they will be our partners in this boot camp. So this is the whole area of the 5 pillars of soil. And then we have the area of building the right competence. In that we teach all the fundamental subjects of management like strategy, finance, marketing, operations, supply chain, HR. All the fundamentals of management are taught. At the same time, then we help people to go into 3 tracks. They can go in the tracks of analytics, which is combined with finance, or they can go into the track of marketing, or they can get into the track of HR. These 3 tracks, the first 2 are combined together and called business leadership. The last one is called HR leadership. You get in the first term, you do all the foundation courses in the 5 disciplines. Then you get into these tracks in the second and third term. And you go into advanced courses in each one of these areas. This improves the way you think critically and develop the technical and functional skills to apply to a particular role. And I think this is something which has been an amazing sort of depth that we have been able to create in first giving a foundation, then going deeper, and then really making it apply to a particular role and a particular field so that you are industry ready. And the last part of our curriculum is about how do students learn to lead themselves. So that is about answering 3 questions. What is the purpose that I have defined in my life? And a lot of us, when we are at a young age, we are not clear on our purpose. So we help students to explore this by asking questions such as, who are the people who matter most in our lives? What are their needs we are inspired to serve? And how can we serve those needs by using our own strengths? So this is a question of defining purpose. And then we help students to really discover their own strengths while they are studying with us. And in the self-leadership class, we teach our students how to leverage our strengths towards our purpose so they can be truly inspired. Because if you are good at something, and if you have a dream, then learning how to use your own strengths towards your own dream makes you do the best job. That is inspired work. And when you enable others to do so, they do their inspired work. So this is the third dimension of what we call building leaders with enthusiasm. Because when you are inspired, you are one with God. The literal meaning of the word enthusiasm is being one with God. So this is the whole unique program of SOIL. We are extremely fortunate that in the last 10 years, this is the 10th year of SOIL. Already nearly 1,000 alumni have graduated from SOIL. They are working all over the world. And many of them have progressed into senior significant positions in different parts of the world. And some of them have become entrepreneurs, some of them have become social entrepreneurs. So we are extremely pleased with this 10-year journey of SOIL. And I think it has been a real blessing to be able to give them this opportunity. And I think the amount of support we have got from the best companies of India, whether it is Tata's or Mahindra's or Infosys or all major companies who are part of our consortium, the amount they have supported us and the amount they have encouraged us from this vision has really made us very humble to say we want to now build for the next 10 years. In the future, there are lots of new things SOIL will do in this 1-year program. There's a lot of new content on design thinking that we introduced 2 years back. We are putting new content in the area of digital transformation. We are acutely aware that artificial intelligence, robotics, machine learning, these new developments are causing major disruptions in the market. And so we are preparing courses, bringing in excellent new faculty who are always ahead of their game so that our students are future ready. And these are the future things we are doing. We are also setting up our new campus in Manesar, in which we will offer a 2 years program on which is meant for freshers, which is meant for those who want to study soon after college. And there we are introducing subjects like liberal arts, philosophy, anthropology, psychology, sociology, and combining that with design thinking and then management subjects. And that campus is located just 20 kilometers away from our existing campus. The construction is in full swing. We will open that campus on the Guru Purnima day in July this year, just like the current campus of SOIL started on Guru Purnima day in 2009. So 10 years later, as we celebrate our 10th anniversary, our second campus will be ready. And also some of the classes of our one-year program will also be done there and the other way around. So we will have much more expanded facilities and infrastructure and much more flexibility and much more, let's say, creativity coming in through subjects of liberal arts and design thinking. So we hope to have a closer collaboration between the experienced students studying in the one-year program and the freshers studying in the two-year program. So we hope to do many things together between those young people and this somewhat experienced cohort so that the two can feed each other's learning and can really help each other to grow and learn. So that's what is going to happen in the future. And I think we are very, very fortunate in SOIL that we are being recognized globally. There are 3 other developments I want to share with you. Last year, I joined the global board of Shizuken University in Japan. This is set up by Dr. Tomo Noda of Harvard Business School, and it is supported by all the top Japanese companies. A few weeks back, we hosted the first batch of Shizuken University. 30 leaders came from Japan, 20 of them are Japanese, 10 other leaders were from other parts of the world. They came and spent a week with us and interacted with our students and were part of our annual conference. We will have a much more comprehensive exchange program with Shizuken University. So some of you who are applying for the class of 2019-20 will have this opportunity to also spend some time in Japan and participate in an exchange program. And of course, the only thing that will be expected from you is to invest in your own travel cost and lodging and boarding in Japan, but we will create wonderful opportunities for you to learn and to interact with your counterparts in Tokyo with some of the best companies who have sponsored their high potential leaders to study in Shizuken University. On Shizuken University board is also the celebrated Harvard professor, Dr. Clayton Christensen, and also the world famous faculty member from Montreal, Henry Mintzberg. So I am amongst the 6 global board members, and this partnership between Shizuken and SOIL is the highlight of last year. I have also served on the academic committee of the Leadership Institute in SIDAC, which is in Fontainebleau, which was set up by INSEAD 40 years back. Because of my strong presence on the academic committee of this institute, we have access to some absolutely outstanding research material and faculty, and some of them also come and teach in our existing one-year program. We hope to leverage that relationship a lot more. We are starting a new joint executive education program with them in April called Achieving Managerial Excellence. And we'll be hosting some of the faculty from Fontainebleau and Europe here. We hope to take advantage of that, their presence when they come for that program in India, to make their expertise also available to your batch by way of guest lectures and otherwise. Our partnership with MIP in Milan continues from strength to strength. Every year, some of the students of our one-year program go to MIP, which is one of the world's top 40 universities in the world in Milan. It has an energy school, a design school, and a business school, all located next to each other. And they work very well together. So I think it's a wonderful environment to go and spend a few weeks on an exchange program. In turn, we host some of the students from them in SOIL. So I think these are some wonderful developments, and many students ask as to what is the track record of your placements, because that's a favorite question for everybody. Well, I can say that the placements, every year we have been very blessed to have a good record. Last year, for example, by the time the convocation took place, 70% of the students were placed, but within 3 months of the placement process over, everybody got a job, barring 1 or 2 people. This year, once again, the process has started well. So far, we started the process in December, and in the first 6 weeks of this process, about 55 students have got placed. Out of the 110 that are eligible to be placed, 50% of batch have got placed in the first 6 weeks. We hope many more will get placed by the time the convocation takes place end of April. And the few who are left later, we will always work with them to make sure they get good jobs. And I think the figures on average compensation, the kind of companies is all mentioned on our website. But that's a favorite question many people have. And we are extremely proud of the fact that we have one of the best return on investments in soil. The amount of money people spend on the fees and the amount of salary increase they get after 1 year of education in soil shows that the ROI in soil, the return on investment, is comparable to the best in the country, certainly comparable to people like Indian School of Business or Great Lakes or other such institutions in the country. So that's something we are very proud of. And we are very proud of the support we get from industry to make our students succeed. So I think this is something that I have spoken now for nearly 20-25 minutes. It's time for me to take a pause and now invite questions from you. So please tell us questions. There are some questions. There are many questions there. So Shivram is asking, how does the soil curriculum stand out compared to other colleges like IIMs? I've already explained the answer in my detailed answer. Our whole emphasis on multiple intelligences, the whole intelligence on character building, self-leadership, simulation through theater, social innovation program working with NGOs. Something I did not highlight, we have this week-long Himalayan journey that we go to the Himalayas, where students spend time with the local villages in Kangra district to discover how they have been transformed by the Chinmaya Organization of Rural Development. We stay in the Chinmaya Mission Ashram. Our day begins with the morning meditation. The whole process of going into the villages, finding out how those villages have been transformed, and students come back and share their learning with one another, and then the next day, they put up skits, they use music, poetry, dance, to share their learning on what they learned from the transformation in the villages. And later on, students remember this as one of the finest weeks of their lives. Even 10 years after passing out of soil, they still remember that week as the highlight of their very life so far. So it's an amazing program of personal transformation and community building in which we do that. So I think our curriculum is extremely unique. It's most unlike any other institute. And that is why we have now started a worldwide movement. In June last year, Soil was the co-organizer of, along with the Shizuoka University of Japan and the IESC Business School in Barcelona. The three of us hosted a worldwide meeting of educators that was also supported by people like Dr. Nitin Noria of Harvard Business School and many other leading professors and academicians and industry leaders, in which we have begun a new curriculum on what we call whole person leadership. So SOIL is providing leadership to that curriculum design movement, not only in India, but globally. You can read about this a lot more, and some of you are interested can write to us and we can send you more details about that. Aru Miru is asking, looks like SOIL is building social entrepreneurs. You are very interested in social entrepreneurship, in stress management. So Rajkumar Ethiraju, I am very glad to hear that, Rajkumar. In fact, I would like to introduce you to two social entrepreneurs who are passed out of SOIL. One is a person called Siddesh. He runs in Bhagalpur in Bihar a center called Lakshya. He's picking up young and people who are financially deprived. And these young high school students, he's giving them special education to succeed and do well in their education so that they can get the wonderful opportunities in life. He and his classmate from engineering college for the last 7 years, they're running Lakshya. And hundreds of students have benefited from their coaching and development. And they do it, you know, I was so moved when Siddesh told me after spending all the money, he and his friend get 7,000 rupees per month margin. And he told me, Anil sir, 7,000 rupees is enough for my food. Because when I go home, my bhabhi and brother, etc., they take care of my clothes. So last 7 years he lives there and is doing an amazing job. The other person is called Mayank Solanki. He's in Bangalore. He's created a whole organization to teach values to students. all over the country. And Times of India named him amongst the 5 best NGOs of the country. So Mayank Solanki from our first batch and Siddesh from our second batch. These are 2 wonderful social entrepreneurs. There are many more. Rohin Kumar is asking a question which everybody asks, that why no approval of AICT for this 1-year program? It's a very simple question. When we started SOIL, the 1-year program had such a unique curriculum that we could not go to AICT because they would have asked us to adopt their curriculum and it would not have been possible for us to do this innovation. Secondly, in Gurgaon, we did not have enough land to have the infrastructure to apply for AICT approval. That is why now in the new campus in Manesar, we have invested in a much bigger piece of land and we are building a second campus. That will be a 2-year program that will receive, on one hand, AICT approval. On the other hand, it will also have enough space so government will not have issues with that. And government's curriculum, meanwhile, has also changed and become better. And also in a 2-year program, we get more freedom to design our kind of education along with the government kind of education. So we started with a 1-year program, but now after 10 years of completion, we are starting a 2-year program for freshers, in which we are also offering AICT approval that will happen by July. But you know, this AICT approval is only for students and parents get worried for admission. No company is worried about our AICT approval. The best companies of India and global companies are hiring from SOIL. Hundreds of companies have hired from SOIL and 1,000 alumni are working all over the world. So there is no issue of AICT as far as they are concerned. So Arumiru wants to become a social entrepreneur on climate change. Congratulations, that's a wonderful thought. And we look forward to learning more about your plans. Karthik Natarajan 1-year leadership program does not have AICT approval. I have already answered that question. Tushar is asking, is recognized by AMBA or Tushar, we have just joined last year the AMBA body which gives us the preparation for AMBA, which means that we start planning. As you know, it's a 5 years journey because you have to, for getting that accreditation of an AMBA, you have to get through, publish a certain amount of research. Your faculty must have that research content and you must build a track record for that. So that takes time. Last year we began the process. It's a 5-year roadmap to get that accreditation. But frankly, more than the accreditation of AMBA, what you should ask is what are the learning outcomes of SOIL? Or what difference have our students made? That's a very good question to ask, and we would be very happy to show you the track record of our students and the impact they are making. For example, 3 weeks back, Ninja Cart, a company in Bangalore set up by our alumnus. This got the 3rd round of funding of $35 million and is scaling up. And now they are going to other schools, including SOIL, to hire our students. So that is just one. There is another entrepreneur which is set up by a student of our first batch, which is called Tone Tag. And there are many such companies. So whether it's entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs, leadership positions in companies. Just yesterday I read on LinkedIn that Sulakshmi, who is the student of our first batch, became director of Asia Pacific of a major company in the HR space. It's a very big role she got. So, you know, similarly, Shubhika Rana, who works with Kohler, she got posted and promoted in London as head of a senior management area in the area of HR. And like that, I can give you many, many examples of amazing faculty who are doing, amazing alumni who are working all over the world that we are very, very proud of. How is SOIL compared to colleges like Great Lakes? Well, I would say Great Lakes and us have a similar sort of let's say design in the program of the 1-year program, but our curriculum is completely different from Great Lakes. Great Lakes focuses on the normal subjects of management excellence. For us, in addition to maximum excellence, we are focusing on inspired leadership. Therefore, we have a lot more focus on creativity and emotional intelligence, and a lot more focused on compassion and those kinds of aspects of leadership attributes which make the world better. So if you study our curriculum and compare and see the design, they are completely different. The students who want to get just a good job may choose any other institute because all of them are good, including Great Lakes. But students who are truly interested in becoming better leaders and want to make a difference in this life, and they have this, what we call, they want to make a difference, which we call MAD, which in Hindi is sometimes referred to Junoon. If you have that kind of energy that you want to work for a cause, then I think soil is the right place for you. Anjali Sharma wants to know, I did not find the college listed on AMBA official website. Anjali, that is because we joined the AMBA initial group, which is called the advisory body, which means it's a 5 years process. You first register to become an associate of AMBA. Then you start following all the processes. Then you start publishing and doing the research which is required for AMBA. Finally, you subject yourself to an evaluation, and then finally you get an accreditation. By last year, I began taking the first step. We have started learning about AMBA, and they have recognized soil as a unique institution. Therefore, we have become an associate of AMBA. The full accreditation, it takes 5 years to achieve. So we are on that journey right now. Only 1 year has passed. Josh wants to know what will be the minimum cutoff in that for soil. Josh, we don't believe in any minimum cutoffs. On an average, though, just as an equivalent, I think that if you want to measure, we have our own test for measurement. We can say that 70-75 percentile on CAT is the minimum it corresponds to in terms of the soil paper. But we deliberately don't put the minimum because we give some weightage to the entrance exams, including we give our own entrance exam that we give weightage to. We give a lot of weightage to the way you write your application and way you express yourself. We do a full talent appreciation process the day you arrive for the interview. And we have an exhaustive, almost like a 1 hour interview in which we try to look at your values, look at your multiple intelligence, look at your dreams, and want to know what your overall personality is. And we give a lot of weightage to that. So I think all that comes together into our decision whether to make you an offer or not, and whether you are the right kind of student for soil. The students which we want to avoid are those students who believe they can easily get admission here and who want to get somehow a way of getting a good job and earning more money. And the students who are not interested in making a difference and in truly learning. Those are not the students for soil. Because the soil 1 year program is a very rigorous program. It requires you to work very hard. You can forget about most of your social life except for some functions that we organize in soil. And it's a very intense program. So we are looking for somebody who can take the pressure, who is an all-round leader rather than only excelling in one aspect, and somebody who has a dream to make a difference. Then you are the right student for us. How are you assuring ROI, sir? Can you brief me on that? Very simple, Karthik. If our program costs amount X, let's say on an average, students are earning 4 lakhs when they join. And if they pass out of soil after 1 year in the business leadership program, they are earning 10 lakhs. Then the 6 lakhs is the difference after 1 year. And let's say they have spent 15 lakhs, including the GST, on their education. Then that means the 6 lakhs, it takes them, let's say, 2.5 lakhs to earn that back, 2.5 years. So the ROI becomes 2.5 years. That is the difference between salary drawn and salary with which you pass out and the amount of time it takes. So in our case, it's roughly 2.5 years to earn back the money. In most of the top schools, the period is something similar. In some of the lesser known schools, let's say the fees may be 10 lakhs, the average salary is 4 lakhs at the time of being placed. And when you have joined, many people are freshers, but let's say some people who have experience are earning 3 lakhs. So between 3 lakhs to 4 lakhs or 5 lakhs on placement, you've spent 10 lakhs and you have earned only 2 lakhs extra. The payback period is 5 years in many of the grade B and C schools. In our case, the payback period is 2.5 years. And I think that compares with the best in the world. So for example, if you go to Harvard Business School, in Harvard Business School, when you are applying, you may be earning, let's say, $40,000. And after spending $120,000 on your fees and other expenses, after 1 year, let's say you are placed at $120,000. So the difference is about $80,000 that you have earned. Then in Harvard, it's taken you, let's say the payback period is 1.5 to 2 years if you are managing to get admission in the best school in the world, which is amongst the best school, which is Harvard. So in Harvard, the payout period maybe say 2 years in some cases. And let's say in some other schools, it may be 3 years or 4 years. I think soil at 2.5 years compares with the best in terms of payback period and ROI. Arun Mehra still wants to know what are the social entrepreneurship companies that have given offers. There are some social organizations like Read for India, which last year took some of our students for recruitment. Read for India is a wonderful NGO. That's the one example that I can think of. There aren't too many social entrepreneurs that come to soil because soil students are expecting a higher salary. Most social entrepreneurs are willing to pay only 3 to 4 lakhs, sometimes 5 lakhs. We have a scheme in soil that suppose you are offered less than 5 lakhs salary, then because you require 5 lakhs to pay back your loans to study and do other things and lead a reasonable life. So if you are offered, let's say 3 lakhs by the NGO or by a social entrepreneur, then difference between 3 lakhs and 5 lakhs, which means 2 lakhs, we pay it back as a scholarship to the student, so that the person does not feel that the person has not earned enough. And this is a unique scheme that we follow to encourage people to go into the social sector. Sachin Jadhav wants to know which quality will be used for developing leadership. Sachin, right at the beginning, the whole program of soil was based on the leadership development. I told you one about character development through the 5 pillars of soil, learning meditation and yoga to learn to be fully present, compassion by working for NGOs, diversity by working in teams, which teaches you also a lot of innovation. We do simulation using theater to explore values. There are other leadership qualities that we build. For example, there's a lot of emphasis on how to improve your communication skills, how to make great presentations. I teach personally a course called Consulting Skills, which is all the soft skills you need on how to work in service of clients. How do you build trust with others? How do you communicate with impact? How do you do diagnosis on a problem solving? How do you understand how to think critically? How do you really converse in a manner that you are able to resolve differences? How do you learn to dialogue across differences? So we are very fortunate that we have some of the finest people in this area who teach these areas. And the emphasis is on both inner development of personality and also the skills to create impact in the world outside. It's a combination of that. Gautam Kumar is asking about how is it worth to join the HR program. Well, because Soil was founded by some of us who were known to be leaders in the HR space and HR consulting, I myself became the director of HR at the age of, when I was in my 30s, I became a board member and heading HR for Aisha, which has produced more than 100 heads of HR worldwide, including many global heads of HR. I can name so many people. For example, Rekha Menon, who is the chairman of Accenture in India, is an ex-Aisha product. Rohit Thakur, who is the head of HR for Accenture, is ex-Aisha. Piyush Mehta, head of HR of Genpact, is ex-Aisha. And I can go on and name so many different people. Anil Angila, the head of Asia Pacific for Pfizer, is ex-Aisha. Just this morning, I came to know that Manu Sani, an ex-Aisha product, has become the CEO of International Cricket Council, ICC. He is an ex-Aisha colleague. So we had developed this capability of developing the finest leaders in the group of Aisha, where I served for 25 years. And I created a company called Aisha Consultancy that produced some of the finest consultants who became partners of the global consulting companies like A.T. Kearney, BCG, EY, PwC, etc., etc. Out of that, then we created a company called Grow Talent. And Grow Talent had a disproportionate impact. It became the largest HR consulting company in India. So all the companies that support Soil are the past clients of Grow Talent or Aisha Consultancy. And we have a proven track record in developing HR capability, not only of companies, but of our own staff. And thereby the image that we have in industry amongst the best minds of the country is that we are known for our innovative and impactful work in HR. And because of that, the program enjoys a very high amount of credibility. And therefore, I think soil is very unique because it has not just produced an MBA like others. It is produced by founders who first ran a big company in which there were the best HR practices. Then we provide management consulting in that area to the largest companies in India. And then we have created soil out of that experience, and it is co-created by our clients. So actually, this is a very unique question. I think most academic institutions respect soil for this. And our program, that is why I also won the Game Changer Award by SHRM, which is a worldwide body of HR called SHRM. And so I think we are extremely well known in that area. Rohin has got 4.8 years experience in supply chain. I did see that good percentage of manufacturing companies are not coming for placement. Why did this happen? I think the reason is because of the intake quality. To be very honest with you, Rohin, 70% of the MBA students in this country come from IT background. Very few percentage of students come from manufacturing background. So it's a chicken and egg story. And because we were not getting enough students from manufacturing and most of them are from IT company, we did not even have a full-time professor of supply chain and operation. Last year, a former colleague of mine from Aisha, Ravindra Oja, who became the managing director of this British multinational company called GKN in India, when he turned 50, he decided to do his PhD in operations and supply chain, and then he joined academics. So last year, he joined us as our professor of supply chain and manufacturing and operations area. Now that he has come, we hope many good students like you will come. And this week, tomorrow, we are having a meeting with one of India's biggest entrepreneurs in supply chain and logistics, one Mr. Parekh, who runs a big logistics and supply chain company. He's coming to meet us. He's asking us a question. Can you produce 60 supply chain professionals every year for me to hire from soil? I mean, he's asking us for 60. Now, obviously, I don't know how we can satisfy that need, but we are having a discussion with him tomorrow. Let's see what happens out of the discussion. I think if we get more students like you who really want to work in that area, and now that we have an outstanding faculty member in operations and supply chain, I think the future will be different from the past. So it's all questions that depends upon what kind of students you get and companies are attracted by the profile. Aman Maheshwari wants to say, good evening. What are the companies for HR leadership program? Well, all the top companies are there for the HR leadership program, So, this year, I mean, you can keep on naming companies like Make My Trip, companies like Tata Steel, companies like Mahindra, companies like People Strong. I mean, so many different companies have come in HR alumni have been working in Aditya Birla Group. They are working in, many are working in Aditya Birla Group, many are working in Tata Steel, many are working in HCL, they are working in Infosys, etc., etc. So some of the best recruiters in the country have taken our HR products. Anand Group in the automotive industry has taken a large number of HR students from soil, and they really swear by them and the impact they have had. Then Abhimanyu wants to know how many students are placed before completion of the program. I told you that in a good year it is 80%, in a not so good year 70%. But within 3 months of passing out, almost all of them get jobs. Very few are without jobs after 3 months. And that is because we take people with a lot of experience. So it's not just freshers. People who have more experience are looking for special kind of assignments. For them, sometimes it takes more time to get the best job. But there is hardly any student 3 months after passing out who will not got a job. And so our track record, we feel, is excellent. We are very proud of the opportunities our students have got. Not only through our effort, also through their effort. And I think they have done a super job in that area. What are the business leadership roles offered? Typically pre-sales roles, business development roles, sales roles. Then there are some roles in the area of marketing and support. There are some areas of support in business analysts is a very common role that is required. For some roles are in project management, program management roles. There are some others which are looking into the areas of total quality management, Six Sigma, and things like that, those kind of roles. There are some roles in finance that students have got in improving financial performance and working on business planning and those areas. So it's a wide variety like you can expect in any good institute. Abhimanyu wants to know you have converted soil PGPL program, but in final talent appreciation report, I have got higher score in verbal empathy relationship. Will PGP HRL program be more suitable for me? No, Abhimanyu, it's a question of not because of that. See, whether you are in business or you are in HR, these qualities are needed of empathy, of trying to sort of communicate well and maintaining good relationship. This is required as much as in business as in HR. The reason you will join HR is not because you have only these qualities. You will join because you truly have a passion for developing people, inspiring people, and working with people to improve their level of motivation and engagement and development. In business, you do that as a part of your job, but your other principal role is to contribute to finance or marketing or operations or technology or those things. Whereas in HR, your full-time job is to only focus on getting the best out of people. In business, while getting the best out of people, you are contributing to other functions. In HR, your whole job is to get the best out of people by enabling others. So I think, therefore, you should do it only if you intuitively have a passion for that. Rohin Kumar wants to know if, since you are from SCM BG, you wonder whether placement can be offered by companies. Well, Rohin, I told you it's a chicken and egg story. If more people with the right background in supply chain and operations come, given the new faculty member in that area, given the number, if you study the number of companies in our consortium, which are manufacturing companies, they are very large. You can study our 32 companies in our consortium. Many of them are manufacturing companies. In the past, we have not had good students with that kind of background of a large number. So I would say that this is something that you should have self-confidence. Nobody guarantees placement in any business school. But all we can say is to create a platform and introduce the right opportunities to you. And you have to also have the self-confidence to network, take advantage of the platform that SOIL provides, including all our alumni network, and then use that opportunity to get ahead. No institute ought to make any promises, so I will not make a promise. I will make a promise of creating the finest learning opportunity and giving you the best network. The rest is up to you whether you can crack that or not. Rishabh Sharma asked, are there any international collaborations and placement? Yes, I have already talked about international collaborations. I talked about our partnership with Shizuoka University in Japan. I am on their global board. I talked about MIP in Milan. I also talked about the wonderful opportunities that we have in not only working with Shizuoka, but also possibility of going there and living in Japan and doing some internships in Japanese companies if you are interested. Of course, you have to spend your own money on travel and stay in Japan, but we create opportunities for an exchange program there. There are some other opportunities which are on our website, but I would single out the Japanese opportunities and the European opportunities as the best. International placements, well, since there are, I just want you to know, not that we have so-called international placements, but out of our 1,000 alumni, other day we have a software called Alma Connect. We counted that 37% of our alumni are working all over the world now. That's a very large number. That means nearly 370 alumni are working in United States, Canada, Australia, Europe, you name it. They are working all over the world and they are into responsible positions. Aditya Sharma want to know, does all 32 consortium companies participate in hiring students from SOIL? No, Aditya. It depends on their vacancies. I think each year about half of them participate and some of them have vacancies, some of them have not. I think there are some dominant engineering companies in the ABB like ABB. They are not recruiters of management students. They prefer to recruit more engineers. Similarly, there is a consortium company called Avanta Group that has not come to campus for some time. Similarly, Dabur has reduced its intake. They are not recruiting too many people. But there are others like Tata Steel, Mahindra, Volvo Eicher, Infosys. These are companies that are regular recruiters at SOIL. So I would say it's a 50-50 case right now. Rishabh Sharma, what advantage does a business design course have over simple PGDM from other similar tier colleges? Well, Rishabh, this is a question for our 2-year program, but business design is a completely revolutionary new concept. It is a combination of liberal laws, so anthropology, psychology, philosophy, sociology. Then it has a whole range of subjects on design and design thinking, which is completely unique, which you will be only studying in institutes like NIT in Ahmedabad, and courses in, for example, the Stanford Design School. And then there is a whole focus on management with focus on, digital transformation, focus on analytics and big data and learning for the future. So those are very different kind of questions. Yeah. So I think this is a very unique program, and I would say that the whole program is being designed like a 2-year innovation journey, where students will spend 1 day in a week working on a live problem on innovation. So it's meant for comparatively young people and freshers. So that's the 2-year program, which is starting in July. So if some of you are keen only to explore that, you are welcome. But this 1-year program welcomes people with experience, and this, of course, has a credibility of 1,000 alumni with a proper track record. The 2-year program, people who will join will be the pioneers. They will be forming the charter batch, and we will be co-creating the program with our charter batch. You are admitted in, Karthik is admitted in PGPM, sir. Give me some preparation tip before I come to Gurgaon. Karthik, we have a large alumni from your name. You can pick up that you are maybe from the south of India. We have an amazing group of alumni from the south. We can connect you to them in whichever city you are, whether it's Chennai or Bangalore or Hyderabad. And the tips are simply tell your family not to worry about being in the north, because people who come from south worry about the fact that the north is very different. I think it's a very Gurgaon, where you are, is a very cosmopolitan place. We have people from all over the world. Gurgaon is now is like the second biggest startup capital of India, next to Bangalore. In fact, it may overtake Bangalore soon because of the number of startups and the amount of exciting things that are happening here. There are Japanese, Koreans, Europeans, Americans, different nationalities all living in this city. So it's to that extent, it's a very vibrant city. But when you come here, come prepared, first of all, for the climate. We have both extreme hot and extreme cold. But what I'm amazed at is that many of my Chennai students who come, they don't wear sweater. I'm just completely amazed, because my student of the current batch, Anudeep, is sitting with me, and he's also laughing, because I would expect the Chennai students to actually get heavy sweaters like I'm wearing, but they surprisingly don't wear sweater. So I would say weather is extreme hot and cold. For 2 months in the winter, it's very cold. For 2 months in the summer, it's very hot. So you have to come, secondly, you have to come prepared that you will be meeting a very diverse group of students. About 40 to 50% of students are from North, Delhi, Gurgaon, Chandigarh, Lucknow, Jaipur, these areas, Bhopal, etc. Another 50% come from all over India. So many come from Chennai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Andhra. Some come from the east, some come from the west. But I think first is North, followed by the south, and then the other regions of the country constitute the class and soil. So come prepared with an open mind, come prepared to work very hard, come prepared to taste different kind of cuisines and different kinds of cultures. And, I think then you will have an adventure. So, and come prepared on when you have short vacations in between, or short days, to take trips to the Himalayas or go by to nearby places which are worth visiting. So come and celebrate that. And of course, before you come for the program, it would be very useful to do some base level studies in the basic disciplines like accounting, economics, Excel, analytics, those basic things. Then you can hit the ground running. If you are good in Excel, good in quantitative stuff, good in the basics of accounts, etc., and good in some fundamentals of economics, this will help you to take a head start over others. So come prepared for that if you can. Yeah, Karthik, thank you. You are from Chennai. Very welcome. This year we had an amazing Pongal celebration where our students from Chennai every year they host. We had on the banyan leaves. We had the most delicious Tamilian food that was served by our students. And of course, the same evening we had the wonderful Lodi celebration with the Bhangra and all the drums and students organized that. They did an amazing job. So I think both were happening. Chitranjan wants to know, are people really being able to apply ethics and principles in today's fast-paced industry? Chitranjan, that is why we created SOIL. This building in which I am sitting right now, we did not get permission to build for 2 years because we did not bribe the local Haryana government. So even in our new campus, we are taking extra effort, putting in extra time to make sure we are following the norms and don't allowing anybody to deal on this matter. So I worked in a company called Aisha for 25 years, and I can proudly say, not even once in my 25 years, Aisha ever bribed a single government official. And that is what I learned in Aisha. That is what we are practicing in SOIL. And having seen my example, I can quote out of my personal life with my children. They saw me going to a railway train when they were young, and our reservations were not confirmed. The TC wanted bribes to give us reservations. We got off the train, and next day we paid money and took a flight. So when I was applying for electricity connection in my own house that I built, my wife visited the local department 52 times because we did not refuse to bribe. So we have learned in this country to hold our head high. And the fact is that if you speak the truth, you don't have to remember what you spoke last time. So I can proudly say there are companies like Aisha, Infosys, many of the Tata companies, Hindustan Lever, many of these companies I know, Wipro for example, we will never ever sell our soul to do anything wrong. And there are enough companies like that which are becoming more successful in India. Their numbers is growing. So I am very hopeful that in the future, this ethics will be a strong competitive advantage and it will not be a disadvantage in this country. Rohin, you are asking about how to build a network with e-commerce companies. I think that's a very good question on logistics side. As I told you, tomorrow there is a major logistics company chairman, Mr. Parekh, who's coming to meet us. I think we will tell you more about it when we have a discussion with him because he's asking us how we can help him to develop a large number of young professionals for the supply chain area. So I think this is something that I think we should think more about. And I think we would be happy to work with you in that area. Vandana, what minimum percentile required in CAT or that? As I mentioned, Vandana, to you earlier, we don't lay down the minimum, but the test that we do and the test we also consider valid approximately comes to 75 percentile of CAT. That's the minimum. But we don't insist on that. Suppose you are a national level golfer, or you have represented like one of our students was a Ranji Trophy player. If you have been a cricketer of excellence or a dancer, if you have got your Arangetram in Bharatnatyam, or you have created an NGO like Mayank Solanki did, he created an NGO called Yuva when we admitted him in the first year. We look at your overall personality, not just your marks and not just at your competitive exam. Arumiru wants to know what percentage of students got more than 15 lakhs. Arumiru, I don't have the exact information, but my placement team can give you. I think in 1 year there were one company offered to 7-8 students more than 15 lakhs. I think it varies, but I think I would ask you to stay with the average. Don't get carried away by the highest and lowest. The safest thing is to look at the average, and the average salaries are known on our website. And I would suggest you focus on that. Don't focus too much on the outliers. I don't have the exact information just on the question you're asking. Rohin Kumar wants to know what are the opportunities that SOIL provides to enhance the skill set in SCM that organization expects from students. You see, Rohin, I told you that for the first time we have a very, very outstanding chair of our supply chain area. His name is Dr. Ravindra Ojha. Dr. Ojha was managing director of GKN in India, one of the British multinationals. He has worked earlier in Telco Jamshedpur, then we recruited him in Aisha. He was a colleague of mine in Aisha. So he's a hardcore operations and supply chain person. Then he became managing director and CEO of a multinational in India. Then he did his PhD and became a professor. I don't think you can get a better person to teach supply chain. And with his contacts and many of his colleagues working in the best companies in India, I think you can work together with him to ensure that you get the right kind of development and capability. That's all I can say. Anjali, for HR, the usual companies I told you, it's Tata Steel, Mahindra, Volvo, Eicher, companies like that. There are many, many good companies like that. So I think most of them are our consortium companies. There are also companies like HCL, companies like Infosys, and many others who have hired HR people from. So on. Okay. So I think with this, we have reached the end of our webinar. I just want to thank you very much for listening to me and for interacting with me. I wish you all the best, and remember, irrespective of whether you are offered a position in soil or not, irrespective of whether you finally join soil or not, I just want to wish you by asking 3 questions to you. Do you really have a dream that sometimes keeps you awake at night and that really inspires you to make the world better? And are you truly aware of the unique talent that you have, that you can leverage in the service of that dream? And thirdly, are you willing to take the courage to overcome the fears that prevent you to work towards your dreams? If the answers to these 3 questions is yes, irrespective of whether you join soil or not, you are going to make a big impact in this world. I have a lot of faith in the young people of this country. I think God has become more quality conscious in producing much better young people who care, who are very ethical, and who want to make a difference. So I have huge trust in my next generation. For example, my daughter, who did her master's in London School of Economics and works for McKinsey for the last 11 years, or my son, who did his MBA from Indiana University, Bloomington, and set up his own company and now works with us here in soil. When I see the young generation, I see the power of their dreams and the power of their strengths. And I am very, very hopeful that the future is in good hands. So thank you very much. All the very best to you.